Hey, Sunny, I'm excited for you. Temple Grandin, that's cool. I'm recording this. I'm driving back from West Virginia. I do have questions for Temple Grandin. And let me do it like this. So you mentioned about reading. I don't like reading. It's hard for me to absorb information when I'm reading. And what makes it hard is, as I'm talking to you now, I am reading. I'm reading a flowchart that has branches and probabilities and decision trees. And I'm navigating that flowchart with a model of grammar and language with words on it, trying to get to the meaning of the sentence. And when I read other people's sentences in books, like read their words, their flowchart's different than mine. Because they have a different vibe, maybe different grammar, maybe different tone, cadence, volume, inflection, perspective. And I have to translate those words into my way of thinking and put them in a flowchart with every word. And also compare those words to state, context, situation, confidence, and degree of confidence, so I can get a sense of the meaning to even know if I'm right. And the result of this is, when I was a kid, and I would take reading comprehension tests as a kid, my reading comprehension is low, as you can imagine, because there's too many combinations to map against. Also, when I read words, if I read a word like an apple, I might imagine every apple I ever saw, sorted, small to big, different colors, different weights that I could feel in my hand, different smells of the orchards I went to, different ladders I climbed, 3-step ladder, 5-step ladder, 8-step ladder, different weather on the days I was there, all simultaneously in a model that I'm navigating, trying to prioritize which red apple are they talking about on this piece of paper. And that's irritating. But that's not really related to Temple Grandin and the questions. So, a few things that I would be fascinated to understand about how she sees things and views things in models and pictures. As you know, I only think in models. And the models are all connected together in different ways. I have different models for different things. I have models for feelings, which are Venn diagrams, proportional and overlapping. I have models for language, which is flowcharts. I have models for processes, which are like nodal structures with arrows and branches, kind of like a flowchart, but on the circles that connect the branches. The size of the circle tells me information about probability, and the length between the lines tells me the risk, my assessment of the risk of the branches. And so what I want to do is choose paths that have a high probability of success and low risk in different ways. But that brings me to also have models of systems architectures, energy transfer, energy and information systems, frameworks, everything I know about everything. But there's an aspect of this, there's a couple downsides of this way of thinking. One thing about me that may be different than Temple is I can move in and out of different modes of thinking. Like right now I'm not in spatial land. I'm in the land of flowcharts, language land, which is a different place. And so I can move in and out of these different modes depending on the kind of information I'm processing and sort of, what's the best way to approach a certain thing. One of the things is when I'm in like spatial land, mapping everything together, there's two aspects to it that are troublesome. One is time. So when I imagine everything I know in a model and I'm navigating it, I don't have a sense of the time of things. And that means sometimes I do things out of sequence. So a good example of this, which is a story is, I'm planning to explain new ideas about energy transfer and the visualization of business thermodynamics. And I'm going to prove that invisible systems like businesses follow Newton's laws of motion and conserve the energy principle called momentum. So those gears that spin around in dollars per hour, the rate of increase of their income velocity or decrease conserves momentum. And of course they do, because they're processing energy, just like spinning gears. And I've known this since 1985, and I'm going to prove this with my project. And we intersected around the time when I was translating this idea. And after we met, I believe, right around that, I built we had the website Business Visualization, and Energy and Information Systems came first, and then Business Visualization came second. And then I built software called Visualizer that visualizes the energy structure and also the process map and the performance of the people, and talks to Salesforce and does all this. Spent a ton of money, spent $400,000 on this thing. And I showed it to people at Salesforce, and it was like crickets. And the reason it didn't work, or why the story that I believe, and what they told me, they're like, it looks cool, but how does it make money? And what I realized is I was showing them what I see, not how it optimizes the business. I was just showing them a model of a business, a scale model. And it was in the wrong order. And so then I went back to the drawing board 2 years later, and I made a Cloud Miner, the software I sold, that's funding my eco project. So, and that's an optimization engine. And I should have made the optimization engine first. And the reason I'm saying this is because the way I create the future, as you saw in the framework, is I imagine the end, the visualization of the end, using those questions that we started to go through. And I map everything backwards through that dome of dreams, strategy architecture, and add projects. And then I just do the projects in the order that ends up in the future. I've always done this as a kid. And that's how I create the world I imagine. But if I'm visualizing the entire system, and I start at the end and I work backwards to now, which is what I do, sometimes I stop a node too soon, which is what I did in that case. The order should have been the optimization engine and then the visualization engine, because the optimization engine makes the money. They can then fund the visualization engine and then prove my ideas. But I was going in reverse, so I was like, I'll build a visualization engine, and everyone will be like amazed by this like way of doing things, and nobody understood it. So I guess the first question is about time sequencing. So when Temple Grandin's imagining her models, does she have an awareness of time? What I like to say also, I have a super keen awareness of time. When I was a kid, I used to practice with a stopwatch, starting and stopping a stopwatch, calibrating my sense of time. 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 300 seconds. And I was accurate at 300 seconds plus or minus 2 seconds. And I use this to model the marbles rolling down ramps, because I was so accurate I didn't need a stopwatch. I could know how long things took by watching them. And so I have a strong sense of time. What I'm trying to express is that when I'm in visualization spatial land, I have no sense of time and timing. It's just basically, it's like looking at a puzzle that's already done. Where do you start? I don't need to start at the corners. Okay, you can start anywhere in the puzzle. And sometimes I start in the wrong order. Second, has to do with what we perceive as self-awareness, but it isn't directly. But in my models, when I'm imagining, I can't see myself And the reason I can't see myself is because life is first person. And so when I'm imagining situations, I can never see myself in any situations. I mean, I can say that I'm aware, I have good self-awareness when I'm interacting with people. And I have good self-awareness when I'm imagining situations that are sort of like linear. But when I'm modeling things, I can't see myself, because the only time I see myself during the day is when I brush my teeth and I look in the mirror, which is maybe like 2 minutes a day. So if there's like 800 minutes in a day, like, I mean, the percent of time I'm aware of myself is low. And since all of my learning in life is with things I see with my eyes, and since I don't see myself, I don't have a clear model of myself. Like, I have a model of you. I know your body language. I know your moods. I know how you are emotional at different things at different times. I know the sound of your voice before you cry. I know the sound of your voice after. I know where you look when you're thinking. I don't know if you're left-handed or right-handed. And there's a difference in humor styles and use from left-handed and right-handed people, but I haven't heard you make jokes. So it'd be like an interesting thing. But anyway, I have models of everybody, of everything. But I don't have a model of myself. That's really the best way to say it. I don't have a model of myself. And so this creates at times anxiety, because I'm, as you know, I'm doing some big moves in the world, coming out of hiding. And I don't have a sense of where I fit in what I'm doing. Or like, I don't care what people think about me, that's not it, but I'm not aware of danger in the way that I think I would be if I had a better model of myself, I guess. I don't know. So I guess the second question is, can she see herself in her models? I guess that'd be the question. And I guess, let me think of another question. Third, I don't know enough about her. I saw the movie about her. I don't know enough about her to ask another kind of question. I guess one question would be, what's her most important lesson about herself? And another question is, what's her most important lesson about people? And that's it. So I hope that helps. And whatever resonates in this, whatever you want to summarize, that'd be cool. I'd love to hear her perspective on things. And I appreciate you. And I hope to talk to you soon.